that you have for Kim from sweetredpoppy.com, you are welcome to put them in the comments below. So we have been trying for an hour to go live, and it has been failing us every time. So we are trying this out. Kim, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Yay! So we're doing the headphones to try to see if this works any better.
Go ahead and comment if you can view this live for us, just so we can see if it's showing up.
All right. Yay! Hello!
Okay, it says I hear you both. Yay!
Oh, yay, Jesse.
Hey.
Thank you so much. Are you guys having any feedback or echo? Other than that, we're going to get this party started. We have been ready to party for an hour. Hey, guys. Yay! Hooray! Okay. So, hey, guys. Okay. So the purpose of this live and what I wanted to do is introduce you to Kim from Sweet Red Poppy. If you have been following me, you may already know Kim and be familiar with some of her work. I admire her, look up to her. I've spent many hours on the phone with Kim, searching for advice. She is such an inspiration to me, so I want to introduce her to you guys. And now, while we have some time at home, I think is the best time to come together as a community. Kim has been working on getting masks for our healthcare providers. She has many tutorials on her social media channels, which I've linked for you guys. One of her current videos on YouTube has over 1 million views on how to make the mask. So I look up and love Kim so much. So like I said, I wanted to bring her to you guys for some questions and answers. I have some questions for her, and then we'll do a live Q&A if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Kim too. So the first thing I'm going to say is thank you, Kim, for hanging in there with me, trying to get this worked out. You are the best. And then I want to say, where do you find inspiration?
I think inspiration can be gained from so many different sources. I think when I'm struggling to be creative, sometimes I will just take a quick trip to the store and just like look for different colors and textures, look for new ideas. Sometimes it's a little browsing on Pinterest at midnight. I think inspiration comes in the funniest different ways. Sometimes it's just driving around town and you see like a color mixture or, a logo or something that you're like, oh, and it sparks a little, flame in you.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, it's random, I feel like.
Yeah, I always find inspiration when we're traveling. I feel like when you go new places, see new things. So sometimes people ask me, what do you do when you get in that creative rut?
So I have been in that creative rut many times. And what I find is helpful is to release yourself of whatever obligation it is you feel like you have to do. I know sometimes maybe you bought the supplies to make something and you're like, I have to make this before I can do anything else. And you like lose the joy that comes from creating. So sometimes allowing yourself to not feel so much pressure, just saying, for a moment, I'm going to place this aside. I'm going to set aside that pressure and just allow myself to be creative in whatever way it is. For me, that's helpful. Sometimes you just get in your head too much. I feel like you just have to release all of that pressure.
Yeah, I totally agree. So speaking of pressure, some of these
here.
Hello. Some of these questions that I've asked you, we've not gone over. These are just top of mind answers. And that's one thing that I love about Kim so much, is that she's just so real and down to earth. So talking about pressure, how do you deal with the pressure of being a blogger, a mom, a wife, a cook, a maid, a nurse, a taxi driver? How do you deal with the pressure of working? I guess this would kind of switch into, how do you balance between work?
A big thing for me, at least, has just been my husband and I talk a lot. Like every single day we have a little meeting where we're like, this is what has to get done today. This is what I need to do. This is what you need to do. And just sharing those responsibilities, and having a partner that understands like where I'm at, and also making sure that my kids are on the same page as well. Like my children understand mom needs to work as well, and that's what helps to pay for this, and this. And so they try to be respectful as well of that time when I'm working. But it's hard. You're never going to feel like you're perfect as a mom, and you're perfect as at your business, and you're perfect with your spouse or your boyfriend or whatever it is. It's always going to be hard. There's always going to feel like there's a little bit of guilt or shame or something in one area. And I think you just have to be kind to yourself and be forgiving and understand you're not perfect. No one expects you to be perfect. And there's seasons of life. And in some seasons, you're going to give a little more to this one thing. And in some seasons, you're going to give a little more on this side. And that's okay. Like, just be forgiving of yourself and allow yourself to grow.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So since I know you so personally, I know that you work about 80 hours a week. I know that you never stop. So what advice would you give to the person that is feeling mom guilt as a mother?
Mom guilt is really hard. That's something I struggled with for years. And I feel like right now I'm at a point where I feel a lot better about it for a few different reasons. I kind of released myself of societal expectations. Like, I don't have to do X, Y, Z to be a perfect mom. Like, what do my children actually need from me? And am I fulfilling those needs? Maybe I don't make a homemade lunch every day, and maybe I don't have dinner on the table at 5 p.m. sharp. And that's okay because it's not important to me. Like, I am there for my children, and I make sure that we're connecting every single day and that their personal needs are met. But I may not live up to like the societal norms of what a perfect mom looks like. And that's okay. And I'm releasing myself of that pressure and just knowing that I'm going to do this my own way, because that's the only way there is, right? I can't be everything to everyone, and that's okay.
So basically, to sum it up, ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are okay.
Yes, girl.
They are. They're fine.
As long as your kids are fed.
Yes,
no, I mean, there are some nights when I'm going to go all out and make a nice dinner, and there are other nights when we're going to go grab fast food, and that's okay, because as long as you're doing your best, I think you're doing great.
Yeah, I think you're right. So for those that are new to your audience, this is one of my favorite stories about you. I want you to go through a little bit of the timeline of when you first got started and where your craft room was.
Okay, so let's see. Maybe it was like about 2.5 years ago. We were living in a small townhouse. It was very small. And I started blogging and started realizing that I could actually make money with what I was doing, which was like a total shock to me. I was like, wait, people actually make money doing this. And so I started working really hard. And what I found was growing my business the fastest was doing video. And if you've ever done a video, you know, you have your lights and you have your camera and you need a flat space, and it takes a good amount of space to create video. And so I started just creating the videos in our bedroom. And as the video requirements grew, my need for space grew as well. And so at one point, I think my husband was on a business trip, and I took apart our bed frame. I, like, threw it in the closet, and I was like, I can't do this. I need more space. So I propped our bed up against a wall so I would have more space for filming every day and for working. And then, like, eventually I moved the mattress out of our
So you just kind of slowly inched him out of the bedroom.
Slowly but surely, yeah, I just made that my home.
Both of you.
My husband was amazing with it. My husband, he's a real champ. Let me just tell you. He chose to sleep on the laundry room floor with a pad so that we could have a dedicated space for me to work and craft in. And then I slept in a bed with a kid. It was completely nuts and totally crazy. But it made me so grateful for like the space that I did have to work in and the support that I had.
Yeah. He really is so supportive. And you guys, he has a hilarious Instagram page. You can follow him at Mr. Sweet Red Poppy. I love how supportive he is of you. That's my favorite aspect of him. He's a good, solid man. Yeah.
It makes a big difference. And you know, it's taken a long time for us to get to the point where we're at. I feel like I don't want to be like, oh, we just have this magical relationship where everything works. It took a lot of sit down talks and a lot of like tears and hard work and just figuring out what we wanted our life to look like. And again, like I said, not thinking that you have to live up to all of societal norms and expectations, because we decided, what is our family going to look like? What is our work going to look like? And it wasn't an easy place to get to. So if you're not there yet, understand that it takes work to get there. It's not overnight.
Right, because you've been blogging for how many years?
Let's see, how old's it? Like 3.5, 4. The first year or so was just fun. It was just as a hobby, but
yeah, definitely not overnight.
Yeah, not overnight.
So let's see. I do have a question about how do you handle keyboard warriors? Because a lot of times this is what may hold somebody back from getting into this line of work that we're in, because we put ourselves out into the public with our videos, and we pour so much of our heart.
You're under so much
into that content.
Yes, it can be hard. And I think the biggest thing, the thing that I remind myself whenever I get a mean comment or a mean message or something, if I know that the content I put out into the world is good and the quality is there, and I'm getting really mean feedback, I just remind myself it's probably not about me, and it's probably more about the person leaving the comment. Hurt people. I love it. And remember that if it doesn't ring as true what they're saying, then it's probably not true, and it has more to do with them and not you. So I just try to be like a duck, let that water roll off your back. It's probably not about you. And don't let the possibility of a negative comment keep you from creating, because that's so silly. Why would you not share what you have inside with everyone else? That creativity that you have, you could be blessing other people's lives, you could be inspiring other people. So don't be afraid just of a mean comment. It's going to happen, and it's a great learning experience. So just go ahead with it. Don't be scared.
Yeah, I love that, because I feel like there's so many things that you want to put out that comes from the heart, but it's almost like you're scared to release that part of yourself because of there may be negative feedback, or there may be negative comments.
And there will be negative comments. I know I was really scared to share about my postpartum depression and anxiety with the world, because it's super personal, and I was so ashamed of it at first. And it took me months and months of talking myself into it. I was like, I'm going to share today. And then I wouldn't. And I was like, I don't know what people will say. They'll think less of me. And then I shared, and I was amazed by how supportive the community was and how understanding people were. And it was really freeing to share, hey, I have mental illness. I'm dealing with this, and it's okay. And it's normal. And creating a community where we can all support each other, because it's hard. It's so hard dealing with that.
It is really hard. And that's where you and I kind of connected, was that postpartum depression, and what was our fuel for crafting, and what was our purpose for reaching people across the internet, was that. So what advice would you give somebody that is just starting out to encourage themselves to continue to keep going forward, if this is what they aspire to do, if they want to be the blogger like you, or if they want to be the content creator, which is more of what I do? What advice would you give to somebody starting out that's afraid to take that jump?
Just go ahead and take that jump. Know that whatever you make, the very first thing, it might be a little rough, like my first video. If you could see it, you would laugh. Just know that everything that you do, you're going to learn from and you're going to get better, and it's okay to make mistakes. I always tell that to people when they're crafting or when they're sewing. People get so worried. They're like, I can't sew it. I can't do it. And I'm like, part of learning is making mistakes, and that's okay because we grow from those. So know that you just have to start, and it may not be exactly where you want it to be. It may not be perfectly pretty the way you want it, and that's okay because you'll learn and you'll grow and you'll find people that love you.
Yes, I agree. If you guys have any questions for Kim, I will go ahead and start taking those, so you can go ahead and start rolling those in. I would also like to say one thing about posting or being a blogger or being a content creator is you never know the audience that you can reach and impact. And that's one thing that I love so much about Kim, is that her videos are so helpful. That video on YouTube does have 1 million views on how to make the face mask. And so that is helping people like my mother out in the world that are on the front lines. So thank you to all of you that are on the front lines. It does not go unappreciated. We are so thankful because we have the ability to stay at home and work from home. And I just cannot imagine having to be out in the world.
Yeah. It's a hard time right now.
It's a hard time. Yeah. But that's why we're here, and we're doing this together. And there's always a silver lining in a scary situation. So the silver lining here is that we are here together in this, and that nobody is ever alone.
So true.
So do you do your hair and makeup every day, or do you do it just when you're on camera?
Did someone ask you that, or is that
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Only when I'm on camera. No,
only when you're on camera.
Makeup about once a week, honestly.
Once a week, yeah.
You're
usually
doing better
I
than
just
me. Wear my hair in a top knot all week long.
Yes. Okay, Coke or Pepsi?
Coke all the way, full sugar, please.
Yep. Cats or dogs?
Ooh, both.
Favorite food?
Favorite food? I don't have a favorite. I like a lot of things.
You gotta pick one.
Favorite food? What's my favorite food?
There he is!
I don't have one. Yeah,
Mr. Sweet Red Poppy.
Poppy, come in. Come on in.
I'm dressed like a bum, so.
He's dressed like a bum because he's on
camera. Good. Look at me. I'm always dressed like a bum. There's Mr. Sweet Red Poppy. Everybody say hello.
For you guys.
All right, so I have a question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite part of Kim being a blogger?
Oh, probably just putting her talents on display, like watching her help people with something she's passionate about. So
that makes me want to cry. It's an emotional time right now, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Josh has been such a support to me over the past 4 or so years. I think you've seen like a completely different person even than from when we started. I was afraid to talk to people. Like I could barely have a conversation with a person. I was so shy when I started.
Yeah, she's definitely grown a lot. And I always knew she had all these talents, was sort of afraid to share them. And with time sort of grew into that sort of, I'm not afraid to share, and I'm going to push through this anxiety and that kind of thing. So,
and you really encouraged her to get started with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I helped her create her first 500 likes on Facebook with friends and family.
Well, we all thank you for being behind the scenes and being so supportive, because I know as a mother of 2 children that if somebody is not there to help with the kids, that is just not going to get done. So moms out there, if you don't get what you need to get done for the day, it is okay. Other days will come.
Yep. There are many days when there's dishes in the sink and we picked up fast food and there's laundry that needs to be done, but
but we get through it anyway.
Great to see you, Holly.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Meet your other half soon too.
Yes. Okay, so he's so nice. I just love him so much.
Me too.
So this will be the last question that I have for you. And this is a good one. This is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
How do you, and clearly we're in this together and we know that, but how do you treat community over competition?
Yeah, you know how I feel about this. I have the mentality that there is enough for everyone, and that when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And so I always do my best to lift each other up. It's like not in me to want someone to fail. I'm like, I want everyone to succeed because we all need to be better, because then we're getting better content out there for everyone. People are happier, the quality's higher. You know how I feel, Holly.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's important to know too, like, even if you want to do a video that another blogger, another content creator has done, it's okay to do it and put your own spin on it, because we all create differently and we all have different tips and tricks.
So true.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, with the masks, if you go on YouTube, there's hundreds of videos on masks. And yesterday I called, or 2 days ago, I called Carly Hall, sorry. And I was like, hey girl, you need to do a mask. She was like, but why? You just did one. And I was like, yeah, I know, but there's enough room for all of us. And I know that you will use a different technique than I would, and it will resonate with your audience. So go ahead and do it. There's enough room for everyone. Like, there's always going to be people that resonate better with a certain influencer or content creator and understand their instructions better. So I always encourage people, go ahead and do it, even if there's something similar out there. Just make it your own.
I love that. I love that, because we all have our own personal touch that we put on things.
True.
All right.
True.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and for answering questions. If you guys have any questions.
Do you want to answer any of these in the comments?
Oh, I don't see any.
I'm looking on Facebook. Let me see.
Okay.
Tips for getting onto Mediavine.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do that one real quick. Pinterest. If you are not on Pinterest and you are trying to qualify for Mediavine, now Mediavine is an ad. It's a way to put. Oh, that was cool. It's a way to get ads on your blog, so you're getting paid for the content as people are viewing your content. Ads are popping up and you're getting paid. The biggest way to qualify for that, to have enough traffic on your blog to make money, is putting your stuff on Pinterest and linking back to your website. Anything else? Let's see. I just wanted to make sure I answered that one.
And Mediavine is that's a blogger thing. Oh, I'm sorry, it started to echo. Mediavine is like a blogger, like that's what bloggers use.
Yeah, so like Holly makes money on her YouTube channel through her ads that are shown on her videos. I make money on my blog through little ads that pop up. And that's one of the ways that I'm able to create so much content.
Yeah. All right. Here's one.
What kind of sewing machine? You know what drives me crazy is that sewing autocorrects to seeing. Sewing machine would you recommend for a complete beginner? Okay, I'm a big Janome fangirl, so if you can find yourself a Janome machine, that's always going to be my recommendation, because I just think they build them really well. I would look for a machine that is made from metal instead of plastic, and you can find a fairly inexpensive model and get started.
That's neat. I didn't know, though, that it needed to be a metal construction.
It doesn't have to be. I just feel like it's a little bit sturdier. There are some models that they make that are just known as being sturdier than others.
Yeah, that makes a lot
of
sense.
So I would go on Amazon. I would look at the reviews and then find your budget.
Yeah. That's perfect. All right, you guys. So if we don't have any more questions, I think we've answered all the lives questions. Yep.
I think that's it.
I just want to say thank you so much to Sweet Red Poppy. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us, for tuning in, for interacting with us, connecting with us. Thank you to all of those that are on the front line. Be sure to check out Kim's video on sewing masks if you know someone that needs to have that extra protection, you can find that on YouTube and on her Facebook channel.
Come follow me on Instagram, Sweet Red Poppy, so we can connect. I always love meeting new people.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Kim. And thank you so much to everyone for joining us.
It was so good to chat with you.
Yes, as always. Thanks, guys.